You can drive from Parliament Hill to Queen's Park in 5 hours, but the ideological distance is more than a day trip. In Ottawa, the Conservative government of the day, sitting on the healthiest finances in the Western world, is trying to convince voters that it faces a budget crisis. It is jonesing for the chance to cut something. Queen's Park, in unhappy contrast, faces an actual budget crisis. It is large and it is growing. And yet the Liberal government, which built its reputation on big new policy initiatives, big and expensive initiatives, doesn't appear to be fully seized of this fact, which is perhaps not surprising. It can't be easy to set yourself to the task of dismantling your own legacy. But that, at least in part, is what the McGuinty government is going to have to do. I was looking through the 2011 provincial budget the other night, and though the document is barely a year old, it reads like a time capsule from another era. Tables and charts proudly detail all the ways the provincial spending has been ramped up and then ramped up some more. And after all, spending more on, say, education looks better to voters than spending less, right? Unfortunately for the McGuinty government, the challenge for the next few years is not to figure out how to spend more. It is to figure out how to get more while spending less. There are all sorts of places in the Ontario budget where voters should wonder whether ever-increasing inputs are really leading to improving outputs. We spend more, but what's the result? Why, after Ontario eliminated grade 13, are so many kids still taking 5 years to graduate from high school? Why have Ontario universities, which used to offer both 3- and 4-year degrees, moved entirely to the 4-year option? Is every Ontario university graduate now 1/3 better educated? And why is the Green Energy Act, which was supposed to make our air cleaner, delivering non-existent environmental benefits, at such high cost? In this multi-billion-dollar boondoggle, your tax dollars are subsidizing the production of hyper-expensive green energy, which is driving up hydro bills across the province. To bring them down, another pile of your tax dollars, $1 billion of them a year in fact, are being used to subsidize your hydro bill. The cost is enormous, and the environmental benefits are nil. Why not replace the whole mess with a carbon tax or road tolls? These would raise money instead of costing it, and they would actually do something for the environment. So far, however, we've seen no signs of this kind of thinking. The government's main response to Don Drummond's report card on our dire finances has been to list all of the recommended cutbacks that it will not be undertaking. And earlier this week, the government promised to raise money with more lotteries, more slot machines, and more casinos. But higher taxes on the stupid, to use the preferred term of policy analysts, won't be enough to close the spending gap. But let's not give up hope just yet. After all, it's the McGuinty government that called in Drummond to write his report. They knew what to expect, and they wanted us to know that, yes, the province really does have a budget that is severely out of whack and likely to become even more so in the next few years. The exercise was designed to wake up the voters, and even the government itself, to the facts of an actual crisis. And unlike the situation in Ottawa, the facts facing Queen's Park and Ontarians speak for themselves. For The Agenda with Steve Paikin, I'm Tony Keller.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.